In this video, I'll walk you through how to install and use the flood coolant system on the SC-512L. Once you have the coolant pump in place, it does not need to be screwed down. You may notice 4 holes in the coolant pump plate, but those are not used. With the pump sitting in place, we can move on to connecting the tubing. At the back of the machine, next to the servo motor, you will find 2 coils of tubes. One is 12mm tubing, and the other is 6mm tubing. The 6mm line is the supply line, and this is the line that runs through the machine. The 12mm line is the return line, and this line needs to remain straight for proper drainage. Now we can connect the coolant tubing. Start by connecting the 6mm supply line to the pump. Next, secure the return tubing to the supply tubing using the included zip tie found inside of the main coolant tank chip tray. This helps keep the lines together and routed neatly. One important thing to remember is that the 12mm return line needs to stay as straight as possible on its way back to the main coolant tank. Now we can connect power to the coolant pump. If you are standing behind the machine, the connector is located on the right side, next to the servo motor. Insert the connector, then make sure to tighten the blue locking ring so it is fully secured. Once that is done, the pump is connected and ready to run. Inside the front of the machine, underneath the X-axis, you will find the 6mm tubing. Connect that tubing to the coolant nozzle. Before using flood coolant, it is important to aim the nozzle correctly. Never point the nozzle upward into the way covers, otherwise you may start to see coolant dripping out of the machine. You should also avoid pointing it directly at the chuck. A good general practice is to aim the nozzle about 90 degrees to the surface of the tool, so coolant reaches the cutting area without being sprayed where it should not. Taking a moment to aim the nozzle properly will help keep the machine cleaner and improve coolant performance. If you notice the coolant is not draining from the front tank, the most likely cause is the return line routing. The 12mm return line needs a straight path back to the main coolant tank. If there are any hooks or loops in that line, gravity will prevent proper drainage. The return tubing is intentionally made extra long to give you flexibility in where you place the main coolant tank. If you do not need the extra length, you can simply cut the tubing shorter for a cleaner setup and more reliable drainage. When selecting a coolant concentrate, we recommend using a water-based coolant, since it is generally the easiest type to maintain. For best results, we recommend a coolant mixture of about 5 to 8%, measured with a refractometer. That will usually give you a good balance of cooling, lubrication, and maintainability. To have flood coolant turn on during a program, you will need to enable it in Fusion 360 when setting up your toolpath. Open your operation, then go to the Feed and Speed section. Find the coolant setting and select Flood. Once flood coolant is enabled and you post the program, you will see an M08 code in the output. With those steps done, your coolant system should be ready to go.
If you found this video helpful, consider subscribing for more setup guides, machining tips, and tutorials. If you have any questions or run into anything unexpected, send us an email at support@signcorecnc.com and we'll be happy to help. You can also check the description for helpful links, related videos, and additional setup resources. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.